Okay, the story today is BBC boss. Here we are. Let me show you in the Telegraph. Tim Davie, turns out, was at Glastonbury when Bob Vylan, the rapper, did his death to the IDF chant from the stage, caused so much trouble for the BBC and trouble, as we'll hear in a moment, for Vylan as well. The Secretary for Culture, Lisa Nandy, spoke in the Commons yesterday questioning how the performance ended up being broadcast. Let's listen to this.
Members of Parliament will have seen, as I have, the appalling and unacceptable scenes at Glastonbury on Saturday, where chants of death to the IDF and river to the sea, amongst others, were broadcast to the nation. On Saturday afternoon, just after the broadcast, I called the Director General to ask for an explanation and what immediate steps the BBC leadership intended to take. As the Prime Minister said yesterday, it is essential that the BBC explains how these scenes came to be broadcast.
What do you think of that, Marina?
I'm just absolutely appalled. Let me just first start by saying I do not endorse what Bob Vylan said. I think the chant has just helped nobody. It was just a really stupid thing to do. I understand why there's a lot of anger, but let's just talk about Lisa Nandy here and Keir Starmer and just this incredible selective outrage, which I find impossible to stomach, right? She finds it in her heart to rush to Parliament, to stand up, to question and demand answers from a BBC allowing this streaming of this band, making this chant. She doesn't rush to Parliament to demand answers and concrete action on the actions that we are seeing live streamed to us daily of the IDF, who are committing alleged war crimes at the direction of their Prime Minister Netanyahu, who has an arrest warrant out for, again, war crimes.
Is that, and let's, hang on, let's just get I hear you, and I understand what you're saying completely. Annunziata, what's your response to that? How can someone be outraged about Vylan and not outraged about people being shot up in food queues?
It is a very different thing to call for the deaths of our allies' armed forces. That is going against our country's interests, and it is calling for people to be killed. But
the IDF are snipering children in the head.
Whether you like it or not,
Marina,
just listen to me. Israel are one of our allies.
So if they're because they're our ally.
Hang on, Marina, just one sec. Let Annunziata say her thing.
There are still hostages being held from a festival not dissimilar to Glastonbury, standing for peace, where the people attending were attacked, killed, raped, and taken hostage.
All right, Marina, let Marina talk.
But I'm sorry, children are paying the price. And are we saying that because they're our allies, we have to stand by as they sniper kids in their head?
And Hamas are using the humans in Gaza as human shields. They are using the people and the children.
Let me just show you the latest on this. Hang on a second. I know how strongly you both feel about this. I'll just show you just some information here, which is an Israeli newspaper actually called Haaretz. Yeah. This is an important article from the weekend where they say that IDF soldiers were ordered to shoot at Gazans who were waiting for food. So that was a development. And Annunziata, the question is this. How can we be angry at Vylan and not even more angry about that?
How can we not support our
Just answer the
allies?
Just answer
that
the
is what the country has set as our mission, that they are our allies, that we are on their side, that this is a war where there is one side on the right, one side on the wrong. Hamas have done the wrong thing consistently.
Wow.
However, everyone wants there to be a solution. We're not going to get that by chanting death to them. They're also the people providing humanitarian.
US Senator Ted Cruz obviously agrees with you, Annunziata. He made his opinion known, said on X, quote, truly sick, thousands of people screaming death to the IDF. This is the base of the Democratic Party. Lots of comments saying this is in England. He said, true. These are the loony British anti-Israel left. They're the very same anti-Semitic zealots as the American anti-Israeli left, to whom the Democratic Party is utterly beholden. And he would probably include you in that, Marina.
Your moral compass is sent spinning because of this stupid chant and not because of premature babies being left to decompose in a hospital, then I'm sorry, but you are completely wrong in the head. This is, and also this conflation of the IDF with the Israeli people or the Jewish people is irresponsible.
It
because
is
it's
unquestionable.
I have seen,
he also said from the river to the sea,
people at home,
repeatedly, which
people
is
at home.
Let Marina just finish her sentence. I'll come to you.
People at home will have seen video upon video of IDF soldiers gleefully talking about detonating hospitals and schools and whatever else and doing the work.
Okay, Annunziata, let Annunziata speak.
Hamas are terrorists.
Let Annunziata
they're
speak.
bloody awful. We're not backing them, are we?
And that's why we are trying to get peace in the area against terrorists.
It's a genocide.
And by killing the
and
IDF,
by killing
you're supporting
all the kids.
terrorists.
Killing the kids is going to get us peace, is it?
Hang on, let Annunziata speak.
Saying from the river to the sea is calling for the genocide of the entire Israeli and Jewish
population.
Let me just ask you this, Annunziata. If the guy shouted death to the IDF, and the question is whether IDF equals Israel equals Jewish people, or whether actually if you say death to the Russian army, it doesn't really mean anything.
Inevitably it does. They have conscription and Jewish people have to serve under the IDF, women and men. There is no choice in that. That is their...
So it is therefore anti-Semitic to shout that?
Absolutely, but so is From the River to the Sea, which he also chanted.
There's another development here, which is that the band, this shows how contested this whole area is. The band have now been told they cannot tour in the States. They had 26 dates in the States lined up. And they've also, interestingly, been, this is, by the way, the US Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau wrote, foreigners who glorify violence and hatred are not welcome visitors in the USA. But they've also been dropped by their agents, who are British, Marina. Well...
I just can't, I cannot bear the hypocrisy. They shouldn't have done what they did. But we're talking about people saying words versus literally killing children.
Isn't the problem here?
Why is this even a debate?
Isn't the problem here that you've gone?
Sorry, and
inciting violence, inciting violence or committing
murder, inciting violence or murdering children.
I'm afraid the BBC has to take responsibility for what it has brought us and its part in this.